Hello, welcome to Smosh Asks, where there are no stupid questions, and boy howdy, that's good because we got a lot of them. Today, we're joined by the director and creative mind, whatever you want to call it, behind the new movie Backrooms. Everyone, Kane Parsons.
Kane Parsons.
Hello,
You said the back rooms.
Backrooms.
The back room.
That's how they say it, right?
No, that's how you're
He goes,
supposed to say it.
by golly, I can't believe we've entered the back room.
What is this? Some kind of the back rooms?
Is it the back room?
No, but no.
Okay, I didn't think so.
It's,
It's
just,
like
the movie's
room.
just back.
It's like room versus the room.
How many
It's like
people called
Cheesecake Factory or the Cheesecake Factory.
Don't you dare.
Well, I don't know. Is it the Cheesecake Factory or Cheesecake
I think it's
Factory?
the.
It is the Cheesecake Factory. If you go to Cheesecake Factory, their menu is small. It's a different place. Kane, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, it's good to be here.
How many people have called it the Backrooms, and do you want to stab them?
No, I mean, well, because it's like an open source thing that anyone can connect with online.
Okay.
That it's like.
But your movie specifically.
My movie is Backrooms, but like it's not a big. I don't think it rattles the experience.
Was there
for
ever like a
people.
discussion? It's like, do we want to call this backrooms?
No, I pitched it as just Backrooms, and it just was really simply picked up like that. Just
And
I say
nobody
it,
ever
and-
tried to change it.
No, I don't think there'd be any benefit. I hear people frequently, like online, just in the discourse, when someone does misspell it as Backrooms, or the Backrooms, sorry, people will say, it should just be Backrooms, that's sleeker, that's, I don't know.
I think
people,
Backrooms is so great.
I personally think Backrooms is more elegant.
I agree.
I agree.
Have you thought about potential sequel names?
Okay, I unfortunately have, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know, sequels are tough. Like, I like the way I do it on YouTube, where it's just Backrooms hyphen
Yeah.
episode name. Like, that's my preferred
That's how
way
we
of
do it
doing
on Smosh Games.
When you're,
Have you ever thought about doing Backrooms, but it's just photos and you call it Backshots?
What was that, our third question today? Or?
Yeah, it was, I think I gotta, it's been great.
Wait, let's follow this thread.
maybe we should.
Has anyone ever like had sex in the backrooms? Do you think?
Oh my God, that's not what I was
Actually,
thinking.
that's a great question.
What?
If I had to guess, it's like probably somehow.
Wait, you meant like because he said that and
Yeah.
you guys what? Gotta go.
I don't.
you guys.
We were talking about
What's
curveball
happening?
questions
'Cause,
before
like,
this.
when you're-
I had not prepared for these.
I didn't prepare for it either. Yeah, because like on a plane, you call it like the Mile High Club. What would you call
Backrooms, like
What would you call it in the back room?
back. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Something liminal, like the liminal team. Liminal gang.
Okay,
Really?
Oh, yes.
I have a question. For someone like me who's not really familiar with the backrooms or back shots, I would like to know, maybe in like 2-3 sentences, like give me like a breakdown of what backrooms are.
Can I be overly contrived for a second and just ask,
Sure.
like, what would be? There's like the cultural definition of like. I think there's a bit of context that is helpful, but then there's also,
I think the context.
I'll ramble through it, like-
because you need the context.
otherwise, like the story in isolation is, yeah. So essentially, like the Backrooms originated as this copy pasta on 4chan, really just this one initial post where someone had combined an image of sort of this yellow off yellow, like piss yellow. It's not nice to look at. Sort of, you can't tell if it's an office space or like the back of a furniture store, or this yellow wallpaper, kind of moldy, gross-looking carpet, and a drop ceiling that maybe isn't the most well taken care of. And of course, the fluorescent lights. So like the caption sort of set up the idea of like, if you no-clip out of reality, which is like the gaming term, phasing through the surface, you'll
She's a
end
big
up.
gamer, so she
I know
gets it.
exactly what that means.
I've gotten used to having to say no-clip a lot, or like explain no-clipping.
I'm looking forward to
Basically,
that
you
being a
glitch.
part of
You
the.
glitch through a wall.
A clip?
Yes.
You glitch
A
through
clip
a
is when I glitch through a wall.
Yeah, you phase through existence, and you end up in. It's using gamey language, but I don't think the concept itself has to be boxed into that sort of game space. It's like you fall out of reality, and then boom, you're in this miserable, really monotonous, just kind of mediocre place in all directions forever. It's like, wow, wouldn't that fucking suck? That'd be terrible.
Like, have you ever been, like, where they host events at in hotels and
Yes,
stuff?
yes.
And you're back there and
yes.
you're like, where the
And you get that
hell
weird
am I?
sinking feeling.
Yeah,
No, it's like it's the relatable feeling of like when you're a kid and like you're too young to fully make memories, but you're like, yeah, my mom brought me to this place and she just wait here.
Yes,
and I was
yes.
like, what the hell is that? It's that vibe.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
know exactly that vibe.
Boom. We're there.
Do you want me to tell you about the vibe?
Yeah.
Okay,
Honestly,
so what,
yeah, Kane, you sit down for a minute.
No, I'm
Olivia,
listening
you
to
tell me
that.
about that vibe.
This actually directly goes to, I would go to China with my family. Then my mom and my dad would just drop me off in their like office space and just like fluorescent light. And then I would just like be by myself walking through staircases and there'd be just like abandoned like sewing machines. And but somehow like
That's it.
now
This straight up sounds like a real.
rethinking about it, it was kind of comforting. I don't know. Like I knew I wasn't like completely lost.
But there
like-
weren't any people.
No. There's no people. I don't know why. Maybe it was like a summer, like a holiday break for them. But I get it.
Yeah, well, that's where it sort of started to spiral online. It was around 2019 that original. Well, it was 2019 that original post circulated as a meme. But then it started to obviously like scratch an itch for certain people, for most people, that sort of led into like the whole liminal space photography movement, if you want to call it that, in 2020, where it is what you were just describing. It's like largely dependent on or factoring in like these. Feelings that you had around you, like the relationship with the space in the world you lived in as a child, and how those memories have obviously sort of, overemphasized certain details and de-emphasized others. So you kind of have like an empty world that no one else lives in anymore, that only exists in your brain. So there's a little bit of that. Like I think a lot of the visual aesthetic language of Backrooms and this liminal space, it's a buzzword now. People misuse it all the time, but liminal space photography in general kind of has always trended towards stuff that replicates the look of like Digicam from like the late 90s, early 2000s, and a lot of these, a lot of the stuff that like ranks highest in terms of like people who are celebrating these liminal space images tend to just even be like real estate listings on a website or something, just like front flash photography, broken white balance, and it's just not really intended to be like a meaningful thing, but suddenly you're like, wow, I had a profound relationship with this little crack next to the doorway in my childhood home next to this rusty fridge.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that.
This is so beautiful. I'm gonna cry.
But that's one aspect.
But you had like a straight up Backrooms experience as a kid.
Yeah. Are we thinking the same thing when they put me in the garage?
Well, I wasn't gonna say that, but I mean this like multi-story building of sewing machines and nothing else.
Yes, nothing else. But I think in China there was a lot of these like factories that weren't being used and people were renting it, and like I would just go, and while my parents were busy, I would just like walk around and see what I could find.
Because you watch a lot of like urban exploration, especially like abandoned
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
And I know in China there's like, and also in America, there's all these like abandoned superstructures, like malls or
Right.
offices. And that to me exemplifies
It always gives you that
the
like,
liminal where it's
weird
like,
feeling, or like
this it's like you can almost hear like, this is gonna sound so pretentious. When you hold up like a seashell to your ear and you hear the ocean, it's like that, but
Yeah.
you hear like the crowd that was once there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the subtractive nature of it. But I think like the Backrooms is obviously it's giving form to that general sort of nebulous group of ideas, and it's like one specific example of, okay, here's a concept that could be an engine for a story. There's no characters presented. There's nothing really tagged onto that. It's just like, honestly, it worked better as a game concept for a while, and that's what people were doing with it. Unlike, I didn't really interact with a lot of it until 2021 when I did that first short. But when I did, and suddenly it started doing really well, which I had not anticipated whatsoever. I thought it was gonna major flop compared to, I had been in the groove of doing these Attack on Titan animations for a while.
yeah,
Those are so sick.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun making those, but like I felt like I'd burnt through all of like the main plot beats that would, I was trying to be thoughtful about it. It's like, if it's supposed to be this historical war footage, then like you can only have so many scenarios where you could place someone with a camera before you're just like, you're done. You're out of options.
If you had to decide like a scent in Backrooms,
Oh yeah.
what does it smell like?
I don't have a great vocabulary for scents, so I can't like describe it as someone who is like a wine connoisseur could. But I
You don't have to do Yankee Candle.
kind of
You're
like
good.
I like to think it's a bit it's somewhere between a retirement home and a Home Depot.
I love the smell of Home Depot.
Well,
That's
it
such a
depends,
juxtaposition.
Well, hold on, because the Home Depot smells different depending on the section you're in.
Yes.
Because if you're in the wood section, that's a lovely.
Not the wood. It's not the wood.
Okay, not the wood.
Oh,
Like the doors section, or
It's
like
probably like the
light
chandelier
fixtures.
section.
Yeah. Okay.
Chandelier section.
oh no.
So it's like
And
got
retirement home is not good.
What if you're walking through the back rooms and you just walk by like an incredible scent? Like, is that possible?
Yeah, wouldn't that be a mind screw?
Probably.
Do you think that would be dangerous?
It's funny when I love answering questions. It's funny talking
good,
about
we
it
got
as
a lot
though,
of
We got a lot of them.
as though this is like a, because I noticed this in the last one we did, which was like, man, I'm talking about this like it's a real thing. And I found that very funny. I think maybe like, yes, inside of and I have to correct myself because some people came after me for.
Sure.
I am not the creator of the Backrooms. I have never claimed to be the creator of the Backrooms.
Right.
I don't want to be the creator of the Backrooms.
It's just so cool that you
I made a
created
web
the
series.
Backrooms.
Yeah.
It somehow spiraled into a movie. We're not, grabbing anyone's copyright. We're not doing anything insane.
Well,
And
there is
anyone
no
else can go.
creator of the
Yeah.
Backrooms because it was a collective
I just have
thing.
to say it out
Yeah.
loud
Yes.
in like plain language.
Right.
Otherwise, we're still gonna get comments.
This
about
is
that.
Kane Parsons' Backrooms.
Kane
Yeah, this is
Parsons.
You're
just
gonna
my
have to do
little-
like they did with the Mummy. Like
I want to have a back
that
room.
one guy's mummy.
Lee Cronin's.
Yeah, anyone can
Lee
have a backroom.
Cronin's mummy.
John-
How do I start
Carpenter's.
making a back room?
I mean, you can kind of probably just connect like several ideas and say it out loud, and then boom.
Okay.
You're in the back
yeah.
room short that Shane made.
I am.
Yeah,
You
okay.
were living there.
There
You
you
had
go.
like the toilet
I
or
have
whatever.
to. Okay, I was sitting there on the toilet. I think my backrooms the temperature would be like a 77 degrees.
Ooh.
Kind of humid.
Humid.
Because I don't want to be, like, if it's cold, I don't want to be alert and awake. I kind of want to be, like, really cozy and comfortable and, like,
how they get
not
you.
wanting to leave backrooms, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's like a summer vibe.
I don't think she wants to leave the Backrooms.
Yeah.
She wants to.
Well, I think there's good reason, for that becoming a conversation point with the Backrooms. I think obviously the Backrooms is a thing, like being very focused outside of all the liminal space, like hearkening to childhood stuff. It's very much become conceptually this thing that is playing on I think the anxiety that we have as, I don't want to say a species because it is fairly region locked, like at least the discourse around it is somewhat region locked, but like I think the anxiety that's coming out more and more surrounding just where we're at in terms of, the general sense of industrialization of things and the corner cutting we've been doing for like hundreds and hundreds of years. And like obviously I think you can track the trajectory that the species has been on for a long time, but just now people are starting to kind of verbally lose their minds about it a little bit more. They're not losing their minds truly. Like we're still alive and we're breathing and things are going okay. Like there's room to turn the ship, but generally speaking, regardless of if it's just a few select people making the majority of the decisions, these people are also like born into a world of people that they never met, and it's not like it's actually being steered by anyone.
It's kind of like
mostly
it's like the loss
drift.
of the shared space.
It's a drift. Yeah.
That I think is what a lot of this is preying on. Of like once people shared the space, and no longer.
It's a loss of that, but I guess in the interpretation I like to look at, I also look at it as sort of a, I think the Backrooms is very much, this is being very simple about it and maybe a little bit obvious, but like, why would we even fascinate or get freaked out over like this kind of environment in the first place? It's because it's pointedly mundane. It's pointedly everywhere. It's like a very mundane, monotonous, mass-produced sort of environment. Like drop ceilings are a symbol of efficiency.
I guess it's like an uncanny valley kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Where
That's another big
it's
part.
so normal, but there's something slightly off about it that it just makes you want to kind of like. There's something about it.
It's like something, and this isn't like a narrative thing I would read into, but it's like it's like something trying to like cosplay as a building somehow. It's like
right. Yeah.
it's almost there, and it's like I like to think that in at least in my design philosophy with the way we build these spaces is like everything is very clearly human made in some capacity. Like the materials are all there and everything makes sense. It's not like you break a wall and it's just a void because you traveled outside of the range of vision. But it's like but then there's things that just no human would choose to design. It's like, why would the stair? It's like Winchester Mystery House nonsense, where you've got stairs going to nowhere,
Have you been
or like a crevice that's too small for even a chair to fit in. Just stuff like that. That's clearly not.
But I think you going back and saying, Sarah, going back to you saying that you like being asked questions about it because people treat it like it's a real place. I think that's why yours specifically vision of it has taken off in a way, because you do treat it as a real place, at least like with the consistency of a real place, like a scientific approach that you could take to a real place. And it's like, that's what I've always liked in horror, like in The Exorcist. They approach it with such science and facts, and when that kind of falls apart, then it's like, what do we have now? And that's kind of what, the whole Backroom series is, these super smart people, these corporations, these very real things trying to understand something. And when that's kind of not working the way they plan out, then you have, thus the horrors.
Have you seen Smosh the Movie?
I did actually.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait.
I did.
You got it at Walmart?
It's inspired the entire.
so-
It actually did. It's
Great.
You seen Ghostbusters?
Well, no, sorry.
I did a long
I need to go further down this track.
no. I watched it when it came out. I think
Whoa. Huge.
I was 10.
Okay, so
You're the
I
demo.
gotta ask, you have two of the actors in your movie have been nominated for Oscars. Are you jealous that Smosh the Movie had even larger star power like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Markiplier?
Dude, I'm.
Are you so jealous?
I'm fine. I'm
It's
fine, man. I
hilarious.
swear I'm fine.
I did buy the Stone Cold Steve Austin Fortnite skin recently.
Dude, hell yeah.
I'm deeply envious, and
Yeah.
it
Which
was
one's the one with T-Pain?
not even.
Ghostmates.
Ghostmates.
I
You have
think
Michael Ian
Ghostbusters,
Black
Ghostmates.
in Smosh the Movie 1.
Yeah. And Jenna Marbles.
Yeah?
We all miss Jenna Marbles.
I do deeply appreciate having. I know this is going to start to happen. Iron Lung just happened, and now this, and then there's some other stuff in the works. But like, I just superficially, as someone who grew up from 2005 through the internet, is like, I do like seeing people from the YouTube creator space ending up in more dramatic positions within the world, which is obvious. But
Yeah.
like, I like the I don't know. I don't always love meta commentary and stuff in that space, but
Meaning.
meaning I feel like it can be a bit of
self-referential.
Yeah, it's too. I hate
yeah.
derivative self-referential stuff that can come from that.
You're talking
but
about Smosh the Movie.
No.
It's pretty meta.
I think that was the only place it could have gone at that time. Like,
I
it
mean
had
more
to
like
do that.
now, but
now if,
Yeah.
Has anyone ever shown you a Backrooms tattoo?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
How's that even work?
I don't know.
Squiggly.
I mean, it varies. I mean, it's not. I think it's. I don't know if anyone's done that. I know they've done like the Rolling Giant, which is from the oldest view. This
That
series. That's a project
Did that make you scared?
means a
That
lot.
made me scared.
A tattoo make
I
you squirt?
would, in terms of the stuff on YouTube, I would say that's my personal favorite thing I've ever done.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's probably my personal favorite just in general, like the kind of thing I've spent a year working on and obsessing over. I love this film, but that one is like goes to a very, sort of, let's say, special, rare place that you can only get from doing a YouTube web series. So
Yeah. What do you think is the scariest thing you've ever seen?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Well, too much. Too much.
No,
Oh, with the face?
Yeah, it was just a really not great picture of a severed head.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, just like.
Scariest movie.
Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was
you
a
had to
picture of
specify.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, I guess most of us that probably is because we all came up on the internet around the time when you just be looking around and be like, oh, that's a person that got rolled over by a tank.
Okay, hey, sorry about that.
You never saw that?
How do you get into like the mindset of like starting your day and like having to direct and like be in that space?
Yeah, I mean, let me think for a second.
Did you have a writer?
Yeah, there was a writer on the project.
No, a writer. Like,
Oh.
like, did you get to request stuff in your trailer or whatever?
A dude that brings you to set on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Do you have a rider?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I had an assistant, and everyone was just generally helpful. But
What's
okay.
your favorite thing?
Yeah, what's
that you
your
ate?
what's your whole
What's your favorite
energy?
thing that you ate on set?
Okay, well,
Yeah, just two completely different questions.
yeah, okay.
And whichever
You
one
can answer his first.
Whichever one you answer first
When
is
I
your
got-
favorite question.
but don't forget about
Okay.
the question that I just asked.
Okay, so maybe I can find a way to weave them together.
There's no
I
way.
would when we started, we did a test shoot before anything else, like before we got greenlit, before like all of this was done up in Vancouver. So I went up to Vancouver, and we did like a very small skeleton crew, just like 2-day little shoot. There's obviously a lot of questions going through my head because I had never really worked with.
Yeah.
I guess like I was over compensating in my head or like over fixating on like what does it mean to actually direct a set of people and like what are the customs I should be abiding by and what do I not know? Oh my God, there's probably like a billion things I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I was like trying to figure out all the formalities and how much of what to do and so when we actually went there I was like, oh wait, these are just a bunch of people. And I get along with all of them, and we can just talk about things. And I know what I want, so I just tell them what we want, and I give them like a reason why we want it. So
Yeah.
it's just like here's how and then suggestions about how we maybe do it quickly. And and that kind of just like I'm just describing what directing
It
is
didn't
now.
feel overwhelming.
No. As soon as like the human element became clarified and it wasn't just like an ambiguous group of like overly serious crew who are there to kill me, it's like suddenly like, oh wait, I fucking love these people. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is so nice.
You can answer his next question, which is
Then we just had fun, and they introduced me to Cactus Club, which I was not familiar with, but I went to Vancouver. It's
Is it that soda?
no, it's like it's got their
Cactus
things in
Club.
Vancouver. It's this parasitic organism. It's like they've got all of these Cactus Club built. It's a restaurant. It's a chain restaurant, and they're like something's not right up there. They're like there's like people disappearing, and then they've got like they serve the burgers there, and it's
wait, this is your movie or this is real life?
What?
This is the squeakquel, but this for right now.
no, it was like no. I just went up there and never heard of it, but everyone was like,
Disappearing?
no, I was making that bit up.
Okay.
But no, like there's this chain that's just everywhere, and everyone was having it. It's all we ate every single day.
Is it a cult, do you think?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Because sometimes cults will run like delis.
they're
kinda-
spreading
what-
into the
yeah.
states.
What kind of food do they serve?
Cactus Club?
Yeah,
Or is it like
Yeah.
a Mormon thing?
I don't think it's a Mormon thing.
What kind of food? Do
Yeah.
It's like every kind of food.
It's
Oh, it's like the
food.
Cheesecake Factory.
But not the Cheesecake
But it's
Factory.
like business. It's like for like
Oh, it's like fancy kind of?
it's like fancy, but it's accessible fancy, so it's not
Cheesecake
really
Factory.
fancy.
Yeah,
Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
There is something a little
Have you-
liminal
wait, hold on,
about a
hold on.
cheesecake
That is
factory.
true.
Hold on. We just entered into.
Oh, you don't like cheesecake?
Have you ever had Cheesecake Factory?
So what was the other question?
The other question was, what was your favorite
it's
snack
not
you had?
bad. It's not bad that you
I've never
haven't
been.
had it.
I've never been.
Let's
Hey,
cut.
but-
You've done a few interviews now with Smosh.
Yes, I have.
Which one's your favorite so far?
Before you
this
answer
one-
that question, hold on. Before you answer that question,
Thank you for saying. Well, you already said this one. You
no.
I said this one.
Okay.
said this one.
This was my
kinda
favorite.
you're-
Okay, great.
Anthony's over
Then-
there. He's
yeah.
really pissed.
What was wrong with mine?
Shane bursts in the other
talking?
door.
I can't see. The lights are
Down from
blinding. I
here?
can't see if there's someone
Just
back there.
repels from the ceiling.
Yeah, upside down.
Shane
What'd you say?
burst through the wall.
Yeah, he insisted on having one of those in the new studio space, and now we get why.
the honest answer is like those. Oh, wait a minute. I just remembered the thumbnail for the first one.
Oh.
Viral at 16.
Viral at 16.
Yeah. So you know what?
That's what
I
they said
still,
about me when I got HPV.
What the hell?
Oh,
What? HPV is a real thing. You know that.
Yeah.
So are the Backrooms.
So
You should have gotten
Can
a
you-
Gardasil shot,
Yeah.
and Gardasil should be a Pokemon name.
Oh my God, there should be a Gardasil shot little corner in the Backrooms.
Yeah.
Wait, you weren't even born until like Gen 4.
I thought you were gonna say like you
He
weren't even
missed-
born
he missed-
until the
he missed-
Gardasil shot came.
He missed Gen 1, Gen 2, Ruby Sapphire.
Okay.
No, also,
okay.
you
I'm
don't-
sorry. I'm
Gardasil
fucking
doesn't
sorry.
exist anymore, so it's actually perfect.
What do you mean Gardasil doesn't exist anymore?
I don't think they do Gardasil
No,
shots anymore.
I just got my second round recently.
No, RFK hasn't done that much.
Sorry,
we
that's
still got
HIPAA. You
Gardasil.
can't learn that.
Did you see the shot
I'm
of
waiting for my
RFK holding
third
the
round. I have to
bird?
wait for
So
another
wait,
few
are you
months.
sure Gardasil's still a thing?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Well, they're injecting him with something.
Got in his blood.
Yeah. If
what
it's
the
not
guy-
Gardasil, I don't know what Planned Parenthood's been putting into me, so we'll find out.
And go Planned Parenthood in. Okay, are you having?
Have you ever been to Planned Parenthood?
And are you having a good time with us?
I'm having a lovely time.
Really?
Thank you, Kane.
This is fantastic.
Oh my God, that's
What's your
great.
favorite
He's
ice
having a
cream
good
flavor?
time.
Mint. Any kind of mint.
That was
Chocolate
quick.
chip. Hell
I love
yes.
it.
No one does. Are high fives
Wait,
okay? Do you
no,
consent to a
wait,
high five?
Hey, because you know sometimes when you're brushing your teeth,
Yeah.
you're just like, I could swallow this.
You swallow
Some
your
people
toothpaste.
hate that, but
I do. People do talk about like, oh, it reminds me of toothpaste. I'm like, it's a totally.
It's
people
first of
always
all,
say that. People
it's
always say that, and
cold.
they're so wrong.
It's
incredibly
cold.
wrong.
It's such a foolish thing to say, and I judge people as people.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm gonna oust myself now. What black licorice? Anyone here?
Love it.
Yeah.
Have you had
Yeah.
like proper
very
like
Scandinavian of you.
Dutch like
The salted ones?
yeah? that
Oh my
shit
God,
is
it's so
crazy.
good.
Yeah.
Can't stand.
Oh
it.
my gosh.
Oh, you're uncultured.
Yeah.
What about pistachio or pumpkin?
Dude, pistachio ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh
Pistachio?
yeah.
Pumpkin ice cream?
Pumpkin? Yeah.
Wait, why? What is the relationship? Why are they mentioned together?
Olivia's just saying P
Yeah,
words
that's actually
now.
a really
both
good.
nasty.
Hey! Kane,
Wait,
actually,
wait.
I have a...
Oh wait, okay.
Six,
6, 7. All right.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, all right,
6,
all right.
7 is 6, 7 in Backrooms?
We had. Oh God. Oh.
Whoa!
We no.
We struck pay dirt.
Yeah, there's a home address where leaves are blocking and only numbers visible are 6, 7.
No.
And that's in the film.
Yeah.
That was not deliberate and
Dude, we're gonna be in the funeral.
No, dude, this
it's
could be
crazy
this
how
could be the
much,
next
like-
chicken jockey.
I think there's a few of them in the film. It's hard
amazing
not to.
how much that was like, oh, that's so stupid. And then I started doing it ironically, thinking if people my age do it, it'll go away faster. And now I'm just like, yeah, like it's the monkey thing.
I still don't know what it is.
Exactly.
That's okay.
And that's
It's
correct.
okay. That's fine.
Actually, I do have a question for you. This is one that I did prep. It's sort of a would you rather. It is a would you rather.
Okay.
Would you rather unlimited bacon, but no games? Okay, well you're getting ahead of me.
I'm sorry.
Or just let me finish. Or unlimited games, unlimited games, but no games. Now you know where I was gonna go with
I know
that.
where you're going with that.
Is
do
the
you
meme
think?
PS3 has no games or PS4 has no games?
It's
if PS4
PS5.
has no games.
It's PS5.
But PS5 is the sequel to PS4 has no games.
Spencer, I believe we have a question in the chamber, and I'm gonna need this answer.
Wait. Well, okay. Wait. I know. What's my answer supposed to be? The man in my voice is in my ear is not. The voice in my ear is not telling me what to respond with.
Well, don't worry, 'cause I have another question for you.
I need this answer first. Kane,
Give me the question again.
okay.
This is important.
Would you rather unlimited bacon, but no games, or games, unlimited games, but no games?
That was a different question, I think. I don't think you asked that.
Games, unlimited games, but no games. Final
Okay.
answer.
I like it. I respect
This
that.
guy's good.
I respect it.
You know,
Thank you.
I think it's the smart choice. I think it's the.
You know the
I
meme?
appreciate
It's like
that.
get A24 on the horn. It's like you did that IRL.
Yeah, you really did.
But yeah, working with them's been cool.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool.
Are you the youngest A24 director?
I don't count. People say it.
I think you are.
What do you mean you don't count it?
No, I mean like I don't check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't think
I don't think
Robert Eggers was viral at 16.
Robert Eggers
I
was
think
14 when he made The
technically,
Bitch.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
No, he was.
Yeah, he was.
What?
You ever heard of Boss Baby?
Lighthouse
This
at
is him now.
Lighthouse
Yeah.
at 17.
Okay, see, I'm so gullible. Like,
Robert Eggers was
these were all
14.
YouTube series. All of these were YouTube series.
Yeah.
This was the whole thing.
oh, so you stop it.
She caught on.
You jump in the pond, you silly goose.
Would you be excited if the next Backrooms was produced by Universal and it was a crossover with Fast and Furious?
I'm actually entertaining that. Not in like just like
we gotta get out of the back rooms.
We're gonna need a whole
it-
lot of spaghetti to do it. Chernobyl, like it's
I'm seriously now thinking through the steps of how you could actually make something okay out of that.
hell yeah.
It seems like a
Think about
terrible
Backrooms.
horrific-
Olivia, this was way better than what you were about to ask.
Absolutely.
You could. The principle of the idea, though, no, definitely not.
Wait, what about,
Okay,
so you know how they used to do more kind of horror team-ups? You know, they did like Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator.
Scooby-Doo
like,
meets Don Knotts.
Yeah, like there was like a long-standing, or you know, they did Ring versus The Grudge in Japan.
Versus Capcom.
Exactly. So it's like, what would you want to see? Who could take on the Backrooms?
Mr. Beast!
Yeah, like Mr. Beast, like
I'm not even kidding. I want that. I want to do a film. I want Jimmy to be the actual person who has to deal with the
that
film.
harkens back almost to
want
like
that.
Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy or things like that.
Yeah.
Like this is a timeless, like you
Also-
always have the big pop culture versus
Of the time.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know what it is where someone's fighting a building. Like I'm sure that's a trope as old as time. But
Godzilla.
But you know, yeah. But like there's more building. There's like
Right.
more building than Godzilla.
I was gonna say King Kong, but I think in the way it kind of helped him a bit.
Or San Andreas, The Rock versus natural disaster.
Oh, dude, the Kool-Aid Man. There's so many walls in the back room.
Holy
so right.
shit, that's
Oh,
actually.
wait.
Yeah.
Okay,
That one's big.
that might be it.
Yeah.
That might be. I don't know what his goal is though, because there's nothing to break to the other side of. It's just he can keep going. It's like
Well, it's
an
the
empty,
internal struggle.
It's an empty
lost
pursuit.
his,
It's like
will.
but it's
Yeah.
life though. It's like there's always another wall, but there's never what's on the other. There's never
That's
an
what makes you
end.
really think.
What about like X-Men 3 when the Juggernaut runs through all those
It'd be like
those
that.
walls?
It'd be like that. It'd just keep going.
Exactly.
Okay.
I almost wore my Universal Monster shirt today, and I thought that'd be too on the nose. Would that have been perfect instead?
I'm wearing my mummy shirt.
And I saw that, and I immediately thought, okay, well, that's more universal. It's a
Did
good
you
thing
wear
I didn't
that
do
for
that.
him?
Now we talked about it, and
No.
I'm like,
Oh,
damn.
you just wore that for yourself.
What if I showed up in a Lee Cronin's The Mummy shirt?
I have my
Everyone's like,
Hereditary
oh.
shirt in my bag.
You what?
I have my Hereditary shirt in my bag.
Okay, well that's a good
I-
movie.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
you wear shirts too?
Sick.
I wear shirts.
Okay, so have you watched the director's cut of Blade Runner?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Have you watched the one with the voiceover
Some of it.
and one without the voiceover?
I've seen the one without the voiceover.
Do you think he's a replicant or not?
Yeah.
That's been confirmed.
Yeah, no, they've blurred together, but I've
Dude, spoilers. I was kidding.
Did you like 2049?
Oh,
Do you like 2046?
Do you like Cyberpunk 2077?
I haven't had time to play it after all.
You know
these
what?
years.
You know what's crazy? I finally played it like, what was it? I was texting you like
Yeah,
4 months ago. Now that it's all been updated and everything's all ready to
It's
go,
great.
It's a good experience. And you don't have everyone else in your ear playing it at the same time being like, have you found the thing yet? Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta do
Yeah.
You can just play.
And Phantom Liberty is
it really is.
so.
You know, it's really good though, the anime.
Yeah, the anime.
It
rocks.
actually-
Yeah.
Did you watch
Oh
that?
yeah, do you like
Edge-Wise?
it? Do you like anime?
I do, but not particularly more than any other.
A guy. Yeah.
I don't.
Sick.
I have a hard time saying like I specifically like anime
Yeah.
because I guess I just like any form of storytelling equally.
That's
it's all,
my answer with anime stuff.
It's all the same. It's like if it's a good fucking story, it's a good
Yes.
story.
Who's
and
the
it's like-
hottest anime character?
That's.
Okay.
Let me think.
The Cart Titan.
What's the
It's the cart-
hottest
it's-
story?
It's the Cart Titan.
I was gonna say
right?
the wall.
The Wall?
Wall in Attack on the Wall.
I need like
The Wall's
visuals.
pretty-
Do you know
yeah,
what
the
they're
Wall's
talking
pretty
about?
sexy.
yeah, we all do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I didn't, so here's my, I never finished Attack on Titan.
I'm 2 episodes away from the finish.
Oh, wow.
You haven't finished it?
You just said that you didn't.
Well, I
thought this was a safe
it's
place.
not my thing.
It's not my thing. I'm not in that.
Yeah, I read a lot of the manga though, and
Okay.
I read it more than I watched it.
Yeah, I
But,
enjoyed the manga.
Yeah,
Do you read a lot of manga?
don't have time.
Yeah.
I'd like to read a
He's
lot more.
booked and busy.
No, you really are, and I mean, what a great problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but I've been fighting for like I need like a month this summer just to.
Are you good?
What are you
I
gonna
just
do? Just
wanna
make
read.
music?
Yeah, music and read and just be in the woods.
Do you want to direct the next Smosh movie?
Yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
direct Smosh the Movie too?
Are you having a good time?
I'm having a really good time.
Are you sure?
This is a lot of fun.
Would you want to come back?
Yeah, of course. I do a fourth
Is this
one.
your favorite interview?
This is my. It might be. Is there like a gun on me somewhere?
Yeah, Shane is just waiting up there. So.
It feels like a test. This is starting to feel
He's
like.
gonna come down like Lady Gaga
Yeah, yeah.
in the Super Bowl.
In a meat dress.
Okay, listen. If you guys give me an okay thumbnail this time,
Viral at 20.
Yeah, youngest A24 director, and he's like, I guess.
It's like a picture
but
of you
he's like
standing on
820.
Ari Aster. Like,
that one image I have. Anthony,
I
that
made
one
I made
image.
that thumbnail myself.
You did that?
oh, throwing yourself under the bus.
Wait, Anthony,
I
come.
have not been able to escape that for years.
What's wrong with the thumbnail?
That exact photo gets edited in a billion different ways.
What's
it's
wrong
like
with the thumbnail?
they-
fought for it too.
You fought.
He fought for it.
I needed that.
Oh my
wrong
God,
with that
Anthony.
What was wrong with it?
People say I look like a homunculus there. They don't recognize my face.
Oh no.
I don't either. I don't know who that
pretty
is.
good,
It's
though.
a different person.
Do a better thumbnail this time.
I recognize myself. It's a
Give me
very
the thumbnail
base
face
human
now.
instinct
Do
to.
the face
Yeah.
now
Do the
that you
face
want
now.
to be the thumbnail.
No.
We're gonna liquefy
doing-
tool it.
Dude, the good news
You
is
look exactly the same.
homunculus can be anything, and that's cool.
It's gonna be just a hair on your whole face.
Someone said I looked like human Shrek.
No.
People have said that about me before. People have said that about me
Yeah.
and Smosh comments, and I'm like, I think that's maybe the most painful thing I've ever had said about me on the internet.
No, it's been said. It's a good thing.
I
It's a good
see
thing,
you.
Okay. I see
You are enough,
Oh my gosh.
and we see you no matter how a thumbnail sees you.
Yeah.
You guys, the thumbnails, I don't look like myself on on the thumbnails.
No, that's what I mean. It was very jarring.
It's like somehow they make me look really, really bad.
The interview was great though.
Thank you. What about my Photoshop skills?
Anthony's
They're
making all
probably
the
good.
What was your thumbnail process like when you were making the original YouTube series?
I just I literally just pull open the media. I just open the file, scrub it, and just open snipping tool and just grab.
And you were
the
like,
frame.
that's like, were you,
And then-
every time you're like, that's the one?
Yeah, I would get indecisive for like 15 minutes, look at 5, and like they didn't offer for until recently like the multiple
A/B
like,
testing,
the A/B
or-
testing. So it's just like, yeah, this is the one. This is I don't know. I would kind of just be able to gravitate towards a single visual that was clear enough, and the stuff that had yellow backrooms, which is not all the videos, like without a doubt perform a million times better than backrooms videos without the backrooms in the thumbnail. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of needing to like raise the saturation a tiny bit because there's like you're like jingling keys.
What was your initial feeling like when you got on a set and you saw that they built basically what you
Yeah.
imagined?
Well, yeah, our production office was connected to the sound stages we were, shooting in. And I would say about a good half of the film is not shot inside it's like the outside world. So it's the outside world. We were going to do all that filming up front first, and then we would move on to the stage for the second half. And so like during prep, we had like, 2-month-ish of prep where I designed all the sets in Blender. And so it's like all pretty one for what we actually built. So we would go out there and like gradually, as I'd be like, discussing with Danny Vermette, our art department head, who's great. Everyone was great, but we would like go back and forth. Maybe I would inch this wall over a little bit if we had to adjust for like a fire lane or something. And when we did that, it was like we would lay out tape, we would walk the distance, we would set up some markers to see how long. With camera tests, Jeremy Cox, the DP, and I would like make sure that if we wanted the hallway to feel long, like we would go and check those points before we would. And then if it didn't feel long enough, we would like shrink the hallway a tiny bit so we would get the look we wanted.
Were you doing like camera tests in Blender? Like, working with like focal lengths
Like
and stuff?
previs?
Yes, there was a big part of that. Like that drove the shot listing and everything. Like the shot listing was all Blender for the most part. Not all, but a majority of it was. And like, the lighting all looks pretty similar to what we had on the day because we would scan all our locations as well. And I would try to, when I had time, like just remodel them myself so we would have full lighting control. And Blender's great, so it looks like reality.
How much are you
most of the
sleeping?
time. During this time, like an okay amount, probably like 7 hours. It slowly tapered. Until
Hey, we
that's-
love a well
Yeah, that's
team.
at this time.
Okay.
In post, it was about 20-hour work days or so.
Oh my
20
gosh.
hours per
At
day
the
of
end.
sleep.
How much were you
At the
editing?
end. Sorry?
Were you editing?
I wasn't cutting the film, no. But I
Yeah.
I got way too hands-on with some VFX, and I was co-scoring the film, so.
Really?
So there was a lot of stuff at the very end. With any film, it's not simply following the blueprint of the script. It's a fluid thing that changes pretty constantly the entire time, often in big ways, all in ways that are consistent with like the spear of the vision and like what I kind of wanted from the outset. But some things have to be lost, and some things when you do that, like will shift position, and you start to just re-sculpt the film as you go into something that is I would just endorse as an overall better experience. So
Yeah.
definitely the creative doesn't end when you finish the script. It kind of starts.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
I have a question about the creative process where it is something that was originally, like you said, open source, and I know yours is Backrooms, then there is the Backrooms. So sorry to do this, but nerding in a different direction. I like Pokemon stuff a lot. And then oftentimes people will be like, why haven't they made one that looks like this? Why can't this one evolve into that? And people make fan art of it, and then they post it online, and it looks real, and everyone's like, whoa, Nintendo should do that. I have heard that they then can't do that because someone else has already designed like that thing. So what is it like, making a movie based off of this concept where, I know you have your own iteration of it, but did you have to like avoid seeing things online and just being like, damn it, like someone already said that thing and now it can't be my thing? Or was that ever an issue?
No, that's never really been an issue with this series. I would say everything's structural and I would say like narratively and thematically meaningful. I sort of determined, I don't strictly mean the film, I just mean the IP at large, because it's all a series and the film is just an episode of the series and it's all, heading towards something. And I like to start from the end and go backwards. So it's, for years, it's all kind of been pretty solid and hasn't really been fluctuating or changing. So I wouldn't say there's ever like that exactly. Mm-hmm. And just given how, specific my version of the Backrooms is compared to like there's so many different interpretations of it that I just think there's maybe not like specific comps. There's definitely like inspiration I've taken from works of science fiction and whatnot here and there, and just like general reading, because I was 16 when I started it, I'm 20 now, and so I've spent time obviously growing as a person and understanding more about the world. So there's plenty of new ideas that have like been tagged onto this thing and have been woven in, but I wouldn't say any of them are like run the risk of being like one for one with any actual creative proposals.
We've just kind of cornered the market to put it in
I mean, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
I think there's a few people who are far more talented, like 3D artists, than I am making videos and stuff, and they get like no views. So it's like it's not view wise, and obviously view dominance wise. I think that's usually true-ish these days, which I don't feel great about personally.
Do you watch
I feel
any
neutral
of the,
about it, but
do
I
you
guess
watch a lot of the other, like your kind of peers doing like the analog horror? Like I know there's a lot of, selfishly, I watch a lot of like the Jurassic Park ones or the dinosaur analog horror ones.
I haven't had a lot of time to watch like much of anything in the past year. Funny enough, ever since I started Backrooms, I did. Okay, here's what it is. I guess I like veered away from watching other analog horror projects.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Not necessarily Backrooms though.
Okay.
Backrooms, it was like I was neutral seeing stuff about, but I think there is obviously the I hate the stupid primate brains, comparison bias.
I have a small, I'm realizing it's going to be a pitch, and so I'm sorry, but take it and use it how you will. So, Backrooms concept, a little
But now if you
scary.
say it, can I not use it?
I guess you probably can't. Oh, we're going back to
so
that
get him out of
question.
here.
Oh, man.
Bring the big.
Go get us Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, I'll go bring a Cheesecake Factory.
The Cheesecake Factory.
Backrooms, a little bit spooky. It's this unnerving vibe. But have you ever thought about twisting it into a positive way? Because I have this recurring dream all the time where I'm moving into a new space, and I'm like, okay, this is my apartment, and I'll open up something and find another huge room, and I'm like, oh, cool, this is my apartment, and then there'll be a staircase leading into another thing, and I'm like, oh, I've got all this stuff. So I'm thinking, not Mr. Beast, but Mr. Beast style where it's hey, you get this cool little box, but look inside, and then there's just more and more, and you're like, this is your interdimensional.
That's kind of how they're trying to sell the Backrooms to the government. They're like, you can use all this space.
Yeah, that's very much, so when I look at this series and, the way I treat the concept, I don't specifically go out of my way to market as horror or advertise myself as such. When I look at it, it's something that you can sort of derive that level of positivity and optimism from. Again, the mission with this project was to approach it from more of a hard sci-fi human drama perspective. So I think it's not out of the question that you would have, certain ways of looking at this where, in accordance with just real life, if the only weird, impossible thing was, boom, you've got a strange doorway, you're working at this MRI startup in 1990, and you just burn a hole through the wall, and suddenly now there's a building on the other side. There's a billion questions that would come before you even arrive at the assumption that this is some kind of alternate universe, and it's full of monsters and strange happenings. It's you would immediately just be like, fuck, was there a building next to us? Is this the
free
basement?
building.
What? You wouldn't be able to, there'd be a million steps that you'd have to take before you would even decide that there's something negative. And oftentimes, on the other side of something negative, there might be a hope to, okay, maybe there's bad stuff in here, but
could we live here?
we could overcome and adapt and find a way. If we could just figure out what every single negative thing is, we can just find a counter to it, and then just, it's space. So let's just tear down all these walls, tear down the floor, the ceiling, everything. We don't need any of this stuff. We can maybe burn some of it.
There's so much money in parking.
Use it. Yeah, or just you could use it for so many different things. And I think there's it gets talked about as an all-purpose box in some ways.
So you know how a lot of movies will do tie-ins with fast food restaurants, and they'll do K-pop Demon Hunters Happy Meal. Yes. It'll come with a little toy. What would be your ideal fast food
Collab.
Backrooms crossover collab? What restaurant? What would be the combo meal? What would be the toy?
It's giving Cracker Barrel.
It would be, God, what's the right restaurant for this?
I'm thinking too.
I've got my own
Cracker
answer, but
Barrel.
I didn't make Backrooms, so.
Wasn't taken to enough restaurants as a child. We were
Hey,
didn't
we'll
have many
do that,
chains.
man.
We got to
We'll
fix
take you there.
Chili's?
Company move to, no, you
Chili's
can't
is
pitch two
too.
at
There's
once.
a warmth to
You
Chili's.
can't
What about
start with
Shakey's?
Cheesecake Factory and then go to Chili's. It's
What's
gonna
something that
ruin it
has
forever.
what's a place that has no warmth at all? That really is
Cracker
a
Barrel.
consistent.
Captain D's, or some place where you're like, how the is there 9 of them open in our city? I've
That's
never
the
met
sort
a
of thing
single
I'm like,
person that's
okay.
went to a Wiener Schnitzel.
Oh, Wiener Schnitzel would be good.
Yeah,
Schnitzel, there
that's
is.
a good one.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Or
So if they
Long
could-
John Silver's.
That's sort of what I
Okay,
mean,
Long John Silver's.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it
Ties
is.
into
Okay.
the-
Like a
The
popcorn
nautical
chicken
scene.
meal.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a really great question.
It's something that every movie maker needs to consider
Every
when
movie
they're
maker.
pitching their movie. They have to think, what is the fast food tie-in?
the drywall meal.
Yeah, okay. yeah.
Okay,
so then Subway.
okay,
I have a
pivoting.
partnership with Subway. I can't be saying that.
Okay.
Really?
I cannot. No.
You know,
Okay, I'm pivoting
let me
to
tell you,
another-
you don't want to be the spokesperson for Subway.
Oh,
Not a
God,
great
yeah.
track record.
Okay. If there were any director to direct Backrooms and it's not you, who would you want to direct Backrooms?
And was it ever a question? Were you ever yeah, I could give this away, or do you feel such a
No, it's specifically I do it because I want to be doing it, and
Yeah.
I was enjoying it on YouTube, and then we had the opportunity for increased resources on this project, and so it's it's the same thing, just bigger. So it's if I was giving it away, there would be no point in doing it at all. So that'd be the answer. But I guess I feel what would be. I don't like reducing it to a single answer where I think there's a lot of.
each would be a different movie?
Each would be a different movie. I'm racking my brain right now.
What would be the most interesting director to do?
Yeah.
A Backrooms movie.
Tell me Wiseau.
That would be interesting. Yeah, got you there.
We have to get out of these rooms.
He didn't drop his next movie, did he?
Oh, there's like a
one?
shark or something?
No,
Yeah.
that's been out.
Oh, it's been out? I have
Or
not seen
Francis
it.
Coppola.
Oh. If he did like a megalopolis
Megalopolis.
Backrooms?
treatment.
Struggling with the perfect answer to
That's
this
fine.
one. I think
That's
there's
okay.
like,
Well, maybe okay.
I think it's very just dependent.
So
Snyder
you
cut.
had a writer. Well, I don't want you to pitch a different writer, but I'm trying to think like who would write a weird Backrooms.
I think given that
Charlie Kaufman.
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin's Backrooms would be funny as fuck.
Just in hallways forever.
Just always just walking, talking. So much talking.
I think a lot of people could do a lot of cool things with it. It's a very, I would not to undersell the amount of work
that's
that goes into it, but I would say it's a very approachable sort of. There's many ways you can attack it. And
It's kind of like
So.
I always like this analogy, but it's like Batman, where it's like I'm always going to be curious about someone's take on
Yeah.
I
Batman.
was just gonna say a Ben Affleck Backrooms.
Yeah.
But
Ben
I
Affleck back shocks in the bathroom.
But I feel like Backrooms really lends itself to like really kind of like one vision, and that's a vision like
think
yours.
I think at
Like,
least it
I
needs a
don't think it's
consistent vision.
I don't see like Christopher Nolan's Backrooms. I just feel like
the branding on that feels a little funny, but I think
Lee
I think-
Cronin's Backrooms.
Lee Cronin's.
I think you could name people like almost forever, and you could get a lot of cool movie ideas out of that. But I do think that like I think you're right. Right in that I think people need and require, because of how this was birthed on the internet and how specific people are with information. Just being trained on like ARGs and web series. Like that's how I grew up. Like ingesting so much of that. So I'm like, okay, so I put out a thing. People are going to inspect like the if a plug socket moves an inch to the left between videos. That's a narrative. That's because the narrative needed it.
You had mentioned before, like you would like to see this become like a limited series. Kind of
That's
thing?
still
Is that still where you're thinking?
Exactly
like, you
the
would
same.
prefer it to go after?
Yeah, exact same thought process. I would love to get a one season.
And has the 72 pages of lore expanded into?
I've tried to
more?
like trim it down a little bit actually.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, have
it's
you ever like decanonized stuff? I remember that was my first question, is like, is there stuff from early on in the series you're like, I wish I could change that because my
stuff
thoughts on it have changed?
There's stuff I wish I could, but I don't unless it's a visual VFX glitch. Like there's stupid artistic things like a model clipping through the wall. I got up just because there's clipping in the series. Now I have to clarify that was an animation error because I made this video kind of half as a joke. Don't take that seriously. I'm retconning
I
that
did see a
animation
theory
error.
crafting about the first time you see the monster. It's like, oh, if you look, he's like already clipping through the thing.
Yeah, I
Like,
did that
maybe
first.
it's
The first video I did sort of, it was leaning, I would say firmly too hard into like the video game language of the original copy pasta of like no clip out of reality. So I'm going to treat it realistically, but I'll just, throw a bone and make it also like, what's another video game glitch artifact? T-posing and clipping through a...
Yeah.
If I had
I
to see
threw
one,
in
which
some
one
of
would I
that.
see?
But
I would
hate
start
retcons.
with the very first one.
retcons.
I should watch the first.
Yeah, there's a playlist
Ever.
on my channel
Yeah.
which sort of has like the...
But it's Backrooms
the
Found
ideal.
Footage is the title of the first one.
That's the first one, and it's like largely disconnected from the others in the way that like a pilot might be in some ways, or like a concept
It's a
short film.
good, yeah.
But it's like everything else after that is like where it gets into a real narrative.
And the first one kind of ends with like a bit of a jump scare. What are your thoughts on jump scares?
I mean, like I'm not.
Like, are you affected by them?
I think the thing about jump scares is they affect everyone for the most part, as long as
I know
they
people
don't
who
have-
like not affected by them.
It depends on the person, but they're like the most universally effective form of like, and really cheap. I hate them. I hate them in that they.
How many jump scares are in the movie?
I hate the reliance. I think. I guess it's like.
And what's the time code?
It's hard.
Asking for a friend.
It's hard to classify just because I think
So you
what
could go
counts as
take
a
a
jump
pee
scare for
during
one
that time?
person
I can't do
might be
jump
different for another.
You think jump scares are cheap, but you
I-
have some in your movie?
I should clarify this. Essentially, I think that jump scares are like one of the cheaper ways to get a jolt of adrenaline out of an audience. I think you can definitely earn them if you've earned them, and I don't think earning them is just like, oh, we're gonna drop all the audio down to silence. Like usually, if you can see a jump scare coming, it's like don't love it, and when you can't, and if there's too, I think it's just the amount of them. Usually.
What's your favorite jump scare?
What feels like?
Do you have like a favorite jump scare?
I don't have a favorite. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But I think that like in the film, there's stuff that you very well could classify as a jump scare here and there. But I would say they're all fairly soft jump scares or silent jump scares.
Is
With
there-
silent jump scares,
Yeah.
those
I
are
like
good.
those.
I prefer jump scares where we go to silence rather
Yes.
than to
Dude,
noise.
It
Agreed.
Follows Woo.
It Follows is a great. Well, they do have some traditional jump scares,
Yeah.
but they have some
But
incredible
there's some where
silent,
it's just like
no musical sting.
the
no,
tall
it's-
guy just walking
Yeah.
up. Have you seen It Follows?
I've not seen It Follows. I'm familiar with.
Come on, buddy.
What's your favorite horror film?
Yeah, they got TVs at Cheesecake Factory. Let's go.
God, I am so. I don't even have a favorite. I don't like putting things like in a favorite box
Okay.
because I think everything.
fine.
So-
I think
That's-
lots of things do different things, and I don't actually consume. I don't have a lot of time to.
That's fair.
Horror. I have a. I think I have a soft spot for in a lot of ways, but maybe not in the way that motivates me to. Usually, most of what I watch is not in the horror genre.
Okay.
But I think I definitely, am very familiar with the customs.
Could we agree
world.
on a horror movie that we tell you to watch? Like, what
Yeah,
would you?
I'll
What would
give-
be
give me a
your?
recommendation.
Okay, I would say
I will
Amor.
watch it.
Michael Haneke.
I would say The Thing.
Wait, what was
Okay, the thing's good.
Amor. Michael Haneke.
Oh, yeah, I haven't
I
seen
would
it.
say Hereditary.
I've seen Hereditary.
Okay.
Apparently,
Well,
that's supposed to be the scariest.
I don't
movie,
think
right?
it's not as scary as something that can actually happen in real life.
Yeah, I don't like.
Hereditary?
I don't like scary
No,
movies.
I mean,
Hereditary happened to my
movie
good
that I
friend.
suggested.
I personally, I'm not. Maybe this is one to talk because of what Backrooms is, but again, I phrase Backrooms more as like a sci-fi techno thriller.
Yeah.
But
I'm very. Like, I'm not just saying this because you're here, but I'm like very excited to see this movie.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing scary movies, but I'll see movies like It Follows because I don't see that as like it's not like a I'm gonna stab you kind of scary movie.
Yeah.
It's like there's this thing
Yeah.
that's always walking and you
yeah.
never truly get away from it. And so there's that kind of like there's that horror element of it that really like I love a good horror concept like The Thing, which is
Yeah.
similar where it's like you don't know who it could be.
Memories of Murder.
It was John Carpenter the whole time.
Murder.
It's kind of scary. It's just like this thing. It's like killing people.
And he remembers it.
The Bong Joon-ho
Yeah.
movie? The Thing being a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a real life person.
I was
A
gonna
real
say,
life
Man
person
is
is
the
scary.
scariest.
I don't find like I'm of the I'm with the camp where it's like
Okay.
non supernatural for me.
I don't like supernatural stuff. That's why I'm saying like
I don't buy
what's
it.
the other Haneke film that I really like where these people
I have a hard time.
Funny
mind games?
Funny
games. Have you seen Funny Games?
No.
He's only seen the American
Oh
one.
my God, Funny games
These
so
are kind of these,
But I
those
will
are
watch
kind of
these.
like
I'll watch these.
what? They're scary.
yeah. I'm just saying those are like kind of like niche movies. I think.
I also
Games
kind of.
There's nothing wrong with
Funny
that.
games is so
I missed
scary.
your answer, by the way. You're saying the non-supernatural is scarier to you?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm the
I
same way.
agree.
In terms of actually, I guess
There could be just a guy.
and I don't mean this to be like, oh, I'm so
Logical.
yeah, I don't want it to sound like that. It's just more of like, I think with fiction, probably because I spend too much time like working from the side of being a writer and director on this stuff, is like I have a hard time actually getting like the anxiety that I hope for out of a film.
Zodiac.
Yeah, Zodiac's great, but
the friggin' lake scene.
Okay, I
That one's
gotta
That's
go
just
rewatch
in
Zodiac.
that's just in the broad daylight, and
Yeah.
it's like, how do you make something? Well, it's like
Yeah. That's
Backrooms.
what it is.
Backrooms is like
like some of the
totally
most
lit.
tense
Yeah.
scenes and stuff, like stuff I would consider horror, like
Daytime.
aren't usually in horror films. It's like
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's like where it's just, I don't know. I like seeing it inside of a broader thing that is not defined by the genre.
Yeah.
usually.
How do you decompress?
How do I decompress?
Yeah.
I make music.
Oh.
And so I like I did the score for the film, and so that was not actually that relaxing given the timeline.
It's still
we were on.
work. You're decompressing.
It was
is
work
still...
in that context, but I still enjoyed it. And I was able to bring a lot of what I've been doing for like years. What the YouTube
programs do you
series? I use FL Studio and just a lot of VSTs, and a bit of the score we used like.
Do you have like any
what
traditional
hardware?
orchestra?
In the film, no. Well, we have a little bit of like single instruments. We have like bass clarinet and some like fiddle stuff.
One dude
Fiddle.
with a tambourine.
But if you're not like
record.
working,
Fiddle confirmed for Backrooms.
We had to record a pirate track.
You're so right.
what if you're like just not okay? Let's say you're decompressing, but it's not for work.
Music. I make music.
It's a lot of work.
Do you have any sick needle drops in the movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, wow.
There's one that people kind of already know about, which will be cool when they hear it.
Take on
but
me
it's-
when they're on the.
It's not.
Dude,
Like,
that'd be
don't give a
sick.
damn about my reputation.
There's one.
Oh yeah. No, we can't even sing this.
I know.
Sorry.
One of the very, I want to say where, but there's one that like I can't even legally talk about. It's so cool.
Okay. It's not like, but it's not like Backstreet Boys.
No, it's something.
Okay, you're.
I don't think anyone would be able to guess it.
Is it
You don't have to
ABBA?
confirm it.
But it's like it'll be a thing.
You don't have to confirm it. I have an idea. Your like scientific agency is called Async.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider music by NSYNC.
I don't know if a lot of it would fit in the film, but no. What is
got
that?
credits.
The thing that I'm talking about. It's gonna be pretty cool. when
Okay.
people find out about it.
Can I do it slash serious?
99 red balloons.
Yeah,
got the real
slash
Mozart.
serious. What were your like musical inspirations for the score on this?
So probably like it'd be a mixture of because it came from a body of work on the YouTube series. So like the YouTube series maybe pulls from some inspirations that don't make it to the film, but then the film is referencing the stuff made for the series. So there's a little bit of like like a feedback loop process where it's like the original stuff was largely derivative of like the Mr. Robot score by Matt Quayle and some like
And that's your favorite show, right?
That's my favorite show. I've watched it like 8 times. We actually have Sam Esmail's sort of been a friend on the film, which has been really cool, and he's moderating.
Wait, what if you had the Phil Collins needle drop from Mr. Robot in the movie? I think I'm cooking.
That actually, of all of them, could be kind of feasible. When did that song come out? What year?
Like 80.
Yeah. That'd totally be fine.
In the air?
It's Take Me Home
Yeah.
by Phil Collins. It might be Genesis. I'm actually not sure if it's Genesis or Phil Collins.
But yeah, I would
Yeah.
say like the film has gotten to a place where it's like probably like fueled by like the ambient tracks from Portal. Like there's a lot of like early 2000s sort of like Silent Hill synth chord pad stuff. Weird patches, some like weird Cristobal Tapia de Vera Utopia, bendy things like synth. Like,
This is Utopia?
no, Utopia. It's a British series from like 2013.
Any theremin?
No theremin. A lot of it was like early versions of Absinthe and like Reactor and stuff. Like so, it's like very like janky stuff made to sound kind of rich and atmospheric. And then definitely like some like 1 Hour Photo, which is a film I love.
I love 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite films.
It's an incredible film.
It's amazing. Go watch it, guys.
All I know, but that's the one with the Evangelion scene, right? Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Where's got the
That's
toy.
all I know about that movie.
Oh,
He's
and like Robin Williams, like
he's got the dog, he's got the mass-produced Ava at the end.
Wait, what?
He shows off the
He also
mass-produced
did,
Ava, which is like
the other
canonically
movie I
the
really
worst guy, and he's like, this is the good guy or whatever. And it's just like,
Canonically, Robin Williams is an Evangelion ball knower.
well, he's
Except wrong about.
and except he's so wrong about it, like
Like, whoa,
comically wrong.
Get in the Ava, Shinji.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that was pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, those music inspirations. Visually, we did all sorts of crazy stuff. I know I've talked about before. Like I know you asked me, Anthony.
Right.
How on earth do we make the movie feel like the stuff? Like we did a bunch of interesting things where it's a pretty strong divide between inside the back rooms, outside. Like when you're in there, we're shooting on like 12 to 15 millimeter for most of the inside the back room spaces. So tons of like I'd love to get way too close to the actors' faces when they're in these huge spaces and really just exaggerate. Although we didn't have to exaggerate. The sets were big. I've said it probably way too many times now, but it was like 30,000 square feet of set.
So the number 30,000 keeps getting thrown around. I have no concept of like what that actually.
Well, think about where you live. Do you know the square footage of where you live? Multiply it by that up to 30,000.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It was a pretty impressive build. Like
Wow.
apologies to and also thanks to the construction team who.
A lot of steps.
Because the anecdote was like people were getting lost on set. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean it happened, but maybe not in like the. Like
They were lost for hours.
When traveling between stages, we would get turned around because like certain areas were like kind of covering the same ground because we had to duplicate the set so we could film the same place in 2 locations and like it was all right against. They would fill the stages to the absolute max, so you'd have to go around the fire lane or through the sets to get like to the.
The
next
fire
stage.
lane was like a backrooms of the backrooms.
Yeah, it's like it's
Fire
like a
lane that
little,
you can't find your way through. Is so
and it's like darkish because we've got like the lighting because we are relying on the set lighting and so there was just oftentimes you would have to cut through the sets to get where you wanted to go and there's like doors and sometimes flats that are moving around. And
Wow.
like,
Imagine someone
it
not
changes.
knowing they were filming the backrooms in there and they walk in there like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just a funny
that
thing to
probably
imagine.
happened.
I have a question. Did you pursue the actors, or the actors pursued you to be the roles?
It was a bit of a mix. Like we had a great casting director, Whitney Horton, on this, and it was when I was sort of prepping and like coming up with basically a pitch deck for the film, and I very like specifically described what I was looking for in a cast, and we went out and found like a list that we were all getting excited about, and Chiwetel I knew initially, and I like touched back up on everything that he's done and made, and like I very much.
Did you watch Four Brothers?
No, I mean I like the stuff he's direct. I haven't seen everything he's been in.
So good.
I know I should. Again, like not a lot of
Was
movie
he the
watching.
bad
time.
guy in Hustle and Flow?
He's the bad guy in Four Brothers, and he is so scary.
I mean, he's also a great director. You know, like when I met with him, like it was right when I was doing the test shoot, like the same day, like that morning, woke up early because he's in the UK, and we spoke, and we had like a really nice like 2-hour chat, and just like I think one of the things I was like delighted about was that he just, you know, I kind of already knew this just based on the kind of stuff he interacts with, is he's like, you know, he's a very curious person, and he understands like I think he finds a lot of satisfaction and he's just kind of fun in engaging with the scientific method through the lens of film and sort of using that as a backbone in some way. So like when we talked, it was like half the time was just about like I've got a video in the series, which is like my favorite, where they just take apart the ceiling tiles and the troffer in the ceiling and look at the ballast and inspect the serial codes and stuff. And it's like the little details that make up the broader, you know, it's a sci-fi conundrum that's going on, but it's like everything up close is, you know, pretty intricate. And he very
like
much
the
shared
material
those.
analysis.
Yeah,
is what
he
they're doing.
totally
They're
has the same
scanning the drive,
sensibilities,
yeah.
and generally, and like
But it's-
culturally, he's got like perfect sensibilities for what the Backrooms is and needs to be and wants to be. And then when we were going a little bit further, I met with Renata, and it was a very similar experience where she had a very like strong emotional connection to almost like a spiritual one to what was being touched on by Backrooms in terms of like the
She's
public.
so good.
She's so
So good.
She's so
great.
good.
She's great.
Did you watch Worst Person in the World?
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Everyone's.
She's such an
I
incredible
don't know if I've.
I don't know
think
if
there's
you've lived
very few-
enough life yet, though.
I have not.
Bro hasn't
gotta
lived
see
enough
that one.
life.
But go
Enjoy
back,
your
go back and watch
A24
it.
movie.
Go back and watch it when you're 30, and
I
you're gonna
love-
be like,
I do just want to say, like, it's so, like, I know it does feel like, 20, like, it's the youngest director, but you look back at, like, you know, George Lucas or Sam Raimi or, I'm trying to think of the
Orson Welles.
Yeah, it's like
made Citizen Kane
you
when
have
he
to
was
invest in
26.
like these younger voices
Yeah.
are the ones who
So
are
true.
willing to try these new
what
things.
I like this is I don't think about my age at all, really, because I don't have time to. And
Yeah.
it's like I feel weird and out of touch as soon as it gets brought up a little bit. And I don't mean to say that in this context, but I think what I can say that's productive maybe is that I think obviously I had sort of created a viable model on YouTube. So I think you could at least look at that as like, you know, and anyone on the A24 board and looks at it and is like, okay, if you take this and upscale it, we could maybe dollar signs, yay.
Yeah.
Like there could be an element of that, but I think also like what I found just with myself, because there's been a colossal amount of unknowns going into this, is like, and again, I'm not an authority on this. I don't even have a fully developed brain, but I guess that's also partially the point. Is like I found that by getting into this space and having this opportunity at this point when I am like violently trying to cling on to like any sources of information and like trying to piece together an understanding of the world and just sort of creating habits, is like that coinciding, I think I feel has been a beneficial experience here, where it's like I've been able to, I have not slept, I've not given a minute of any day to anything other than this film in like 2 years. So it's like, I would say there's something to having the ability to, this is the entirety of my life, and neurologically as well, as like I'm at a place where I'm very much latched onto it in like all ways. Even like the downtime is music for the sake of Backrooms, and it's like I think there's something to that. It can get extreme where you don't want to be like you've got like a
Do you have a
lab
therapist lined
full
up for after you're done with the movie?
So
Such a
Kane
good time.
wins the movie out.
Yeah.
It's already out.
This is already out. Yeah, it's already out.
It's been out. What are you waiting for?
Why have you not watched it?
Go watch
it.
Go watch
Do you hate-
Backrooms.
16 and viral.
film?
Come on, guys.
Go. All right. Get your special someone. Go to Cheesecake Factory, and then go see Backrooms.
Or Cactus
and then or what?
Cactus Club.
Or Cactus Club if you're up in.
They got me too.
Okay.
I have to bring the good word of Cactus Club back to
Okay,
Los
yeah.
Angeles now. I'm
Oh, no,
franchising.
it's
Cactus
spreading
Club,
now.
Let me franchise, please. I'll open the best Cactus Club this side of the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been Smosh Asks. Thank you, Damien. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Olivia. I didn't intro you in the beginning, so people just have to figure that out.
It's fine.
But most of all, thank you, Kane, for coming on,
Thank you,
talking
guys.
about your big old movie.
The movie.
We're really excited for you. I think we're all very excited.
I'm very excited
Yes.
for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. This was a lot of
Hope
fun.
we get some rest soon.
Me too.